Good morning guys, good morning and welcome back to the stunning Findhorn. This is the third video I've filmed here, but I just can't help but to come back time and time again. This is such a spectacular location for landscape photography and just for getting out in general. I've come here this morning for sunrise. Basically I've been really struggling the last few weeks to get out for sunrise and sunset because of the timings of them both. I'm finding at the moment that the sun is rising and setting while I'm at work, which is making things extremely difficult for me to get out with my camera. However, I'm going away in 2 days right up to the top of Scotland to a region called Sutherland, but I wanted to come out this morning before I go away, make one last video in my local area. And I'm just hoping that things are going to be quite exciting for me this morning, and I think they will be. Because right in the background we've got some lovely colours starting to appear on the horizon, we've got some beautiful clouds, and I think we're in for a cracking sunrise. I've been trying to get a decent photo of these beach huts ever since they were put here. God, I don't know how long ago it was now, maybe 2 years ago actually. Time's passing so quickly at the moment, it's really difficult to know. But there's a lot of controversy locally when these beach huts were basically put here. A lot of people felt it ruined the beach, but a lot of people also like them because they're nice and colourful. I don't really know how I feel about them, to be honest. I do like the colours and I do think they'd make a fantastic photo in right light conditions. We've got some nice clouds above the beach huts just now, really nice pinks going on there, and I kind of thought that would make a nice composition, really nice colours in the background, but it's just not really working, to be honest. I'm going to walk around for a wee while longer and see if I can find something a little bit more interesting. But you know, this morning for me is about coming to somewhere local that I absolutely love, somewhere that means a lot to me, and basically enjoying being out while I'm here before I go away for a few weeks. And it's just so nice being out early in the morning. Yet again, I'm the only person on this beach, which I think is just, it's amazing because, you know, it's not even that early just now. It's like, what, about 7:30, and there's still nobody on this beach like there was the last time I was here, which I just think is amazing. Like, why does nobody come out to the beach early in the morning? And it's also fantastic being here this morning because recently I've done a lot of shoots inland, as you've seen, in the Cairngorms and Perthshire, but to me coming to the seaside that's where my heart is. You know, I've lived by the sea all of my life, but I've just not really had the time to come out recently and shoot at the seaside. So coming here this morning just makes me feel so alive, gets me back to my roots, and I absolutely love it. So just to give you an idea of how great Findhorn can be for landscape photography, here is a couple of images I took last year in spectacular light conditions, and this just shows you how beautiful Findhorn can be in the right light and why I keep getting drawn back to this location. So unfortunately, I think this morning is going to be one of those mornings where you think the light's going to happen and then it doesn't. We literally had about 2 minutes of some pinky purple in the sky. It looked like it was really going to kick off and give us something beautiful, but it's now died right back again, unfortunately. But I'm not disheartened at all this morning. To be honest, I really don't care, because look where I am. I'm at the seaside, one of the only people on the beach. It is such a beautiful morning. And yet again, it's just lovely to be out with a camera, and lovely just to be outdoors and enjoying this beautiful world. So I think this is probably the first time in ages that I've been out with my camera and not got any images, but not felt disheartened by it. And I've realised recently that I've developed a new love for nature and the outdoors, and I'm just learning to appreciate things more, to appreciate what happens in nature, and just to appreciate being out. Yeah, I have mentioned this in previous videos about how, you know, people get hung up about not getting images, and I'm you know, guilty of that myself sometimes, especially like when I went to the Cairngorms. You know, I put so much planning into that trip. I'd found all these locations that I knew would have been spectacular if I got the right light conditions, and because it never happened, I did feel really disappointed. But I think this is one of the great things about shooting locally, and I know that not everybody who watches these videos lives somewhere as beautiful as this, but the great thing about shooting locally is, you know, it only takes you about half an hour or so to get down the road to a location, and if the conditions aren't right, it's not a wasted trip. In fact, even if you travel hundreds of miles to a location, it is never a wasted trip because you always learn something. But this morning for me, I just feel so calm. I feel so at ease with life today. And, you know, finding the time to come down to somewhere that I love as much as Findhorn, just for a couple of hours, in the hope of shooting a sunrise, which definitely isn't happening now. But, you know, that was my aim, was to shoot this sunrise, but just being here. I mean, just look how vast this beach is when the tide is out. It is such a calming place. When you get the chance to go to the seaside, really embrace it, because it's places like these where you can feel alive and where you can connect with the natural world in ways which you just can't do anywhere else. These are true wild places. I watched a video recently by a guy called Dixon. If you haven't seen his YouTube channel, please check it out. But it was the idea of how good photography can be for your mind. And I can't remember what the video was called, but I will put a link to it down in the description. But I just felt it was such an emotive video. And it was the idea that, you know, photography doesn't always have to be kind of like a positive state of mind. You don't always have to be in a positive state of mind to get out and do photography. And it was the idea where he was kind of reflecting on his life, and he went down to this river and he picked out these tiny little things in the river. You know, there was like a twig sticking out, there was like this boy, basically green boy on the river, and he basically picked out all these small intricate details in this river, and he was able to connect with them, and he took photos of them, you know, just as a way of kind of helping his mind. And I found this video so almost inspirational, because I mean, I go out a lot in nature, and I often, you know, when I'm walking in nature, I do very regularly, you know, appreciate the small things, but I've never really thought of these small things when it comes to photography before, and I've never really, you know, appreciated them to their full advantage. And this video to me just struck so many chords. And if you're into more meaningful videos and videos which can really connect with you emotionally, I would highly recommend checking it out. As I began to leave the beach, the sunrise began to appear above the clouds, casting an orange glow over the village of Findhorn. This was a lovely way to end my morning walk.